and welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Hina Joshi and here are the headlines. Sri Lanka stares at further deterioration in protracted multi-layered crisis. People continue to face electricity and water shortage in illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan. And devotees in India celebrate 10 days long Ganeshotsav. Let's begin the show. Entrepreneurship culture in Jammu and Kashmir is on a rise. While the youngsters in the territory are opening their ventures, the administration too is providing its full support by way of increasing investment opportunities and other benefits under government schemes.
India's Jammu and Kashmir is turning out to be a new investment destination for foreign investors. In addition to growing interest of foreign investors in the picturesque region, local young entrepreneurs are venturing into new business models as well. Ramiz Raja, a Kashmiri entrepreneur, has launched heritage-style mud houses to attract tourists in the Ganderbal area. So far, 3 houses have been constructed, and this unique initiative has been named Kulub Mud Houses. The beautiful and aesthetically constructed houses in the foothills of the Kangan mountain range are made from locally sourced raw materials.
ये आइडिया बेसिकली हमारा जो हमारे क्लाइंट्स आते हैं, हमारा ट्रैवल का काम है, तो उनकी डिमांड के वजह से वो कुछ ऑथेंटिक चाहते थे कि कश्मीर में कुछ जो यहाँ का कल्चरल है वो देखना चाहते थे. बस उसी की बेसिस पे हमने ये स्टार्ट कर दिया.
Jammu and Kashmir's youth are showcasing their entrepreneurial mindset. From cupcake businesses to opening a new fashion outlet, a large number of young innovators in Kashmir are making a huge impact on society. Meet Sana Gilani, who started a cupcake baking and confectionery business in Srinagar after completing her studies in the United Kingdom. Such entrepreneurs are also being encouraged by the government to create more jobs and to improve the region's economy. Recently, the Kashmir Entrepreneurship Conclave 2022 in capital Srinagar invited some 500 budding entrepreneurs with an aim to grow their businesses by availing benefits of government schemes.
हमारे पास तो यहाँ पे बहुत ज़रूरत है ऐसे इवेंट्स की जहाँ पे यूथ के लिए काम करना हो और उनको एंगेज कैसे करें हम जो हमारे यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं.
The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has opened its doors for foreign investment as well. In March, a 31-member group of investors from the United Arab Emirates participated in the first ever Overseas Investment Summit in Srinagar. While praising Kashmir for its mesmerizing beauty, the Emirates delegation interacted with local artisans and explored investment opportunities there.
There is a lot of things people can do in Kashmir, either from India itself or from any country, either GCC or UAE. But I'm telling you very honestly that Jammu Kashmir, we are really impressed from this visit.
Several schemes in Jammu and Kashmir are turning the wheel of transformation for youth to become progressive and self-employed entrepreneurs. The Himayat scheme aims to provide support and training to 10,000 youth in 3.5 years, as well as financial assistance to at least half of those 10,000 trained candidates to start their business ventures. Another important scheme, Tejaswini, is providing financial support to the young women of Jammu and Kashmir to set up gainful employment ventures suited to their local conditions, such as fashion outlets, bakeries, knitting and handicraft businesses, and pickle-making businesses. The wave of entrepreneurial spirit in Jammu and Kashmir and other states across India has inspired many to take a path that was hardly explored before. As per the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor India report for 2021 to 2022, India's entrepreneurial activity expanded in 2021, with its total entrepreneurial activity rate increasing to 14.4% in 2021, up from 5.3% in 2020. Young entrepreneurs in India are playing a key role in the economic growth of the country. They are the true ambassadors of Brand India.
Moving on, people in Sri Lanka are under severe stress owing to a consistent decline in the country's economic and humanitarian situation. 4 months on, and millions of Sri Lankans stand on the cusp of extreme poverty. And while the situation lingers on, the new dispensation has launched a crackdown on demonstrators who were instrumental in the ouster of the previous president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Colombo is still negotiating the bailout package with the International Monetary Fund, and observers opine that any further deterioration in the crisis could jeopardize its prospects.
Sri Lanka has been facing a severe economic and humanitarian crisis for the last few months, and the current crisis seems to have touched a new low, with fuel, medicine and other basic essential crunch getting worse by the day. The simmering anger has manifested in different forms of demonstrations being carried out locals. Apart from the labeling the government incompetent, the people have also accused Colombo of exercising high-handedness to muzzle dissent. They said the people who were pivotal in the movement that led to the ouster of Rajapaksa are being hounded and arrested. While demanding their immediate release, the demonstrators said peaceful protesters were charged and tried under stringent laws.
අපි කියනවා වහාම ඔන්න නිදහස් කරන්න ඒත් එක්ක මේ වෙද්දී අපි දන්නවා රටේ ජනතාවට ජීවත් වෙන්න විදියක් නැති වෙලා තියෙන්නේ රටේ ජනතාව දේශපාලන ප්‍රතිසංස්කරණ ඉල්ලනවා මේ එකකටවත් උත්තර දෙනවා වෙනුවට ඔවුන් කරන්නේ දිගින් දිගටම අරගල ගනුවන් මර්ධනය කරගෙන යන එක අපි කියනවා වහාම මෙන්න මේ මුක්ත ක්‍රියාකලාපය නතර කරලා වහාම ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට විසඳුම් දෙන්න.
Rampant inflation and shortages of essentials such as food and medicine have pushed a large section of Sri Lankans towards poverty. More than a quarter of the population of 22 million is now struggling to secure adequate, nutritious food. In such a deteriorating situation, a number of stories of helplessness, desperation and increasing crimes have emerged.
මම පොඩි ගෑස් දෙපත්තියන්ගේ පොලිස් සිලින්ඩරයකුත් එක්ක ඒක මේ මෑතකදී මේ ගෙවල් ගෙම කරුවාට පස්සේ හොරු අරන් ගත්තා. දැන් ඒ මාස 4-5ක් විතර වෙනවා ඒ සිද්ධිය වෙලා. ඉතින් ගෑස් ගන්නත් දැන් ගණන් සල්ලි භාගෙත් අඩුපාඩු. ඉතින් දාලා ඩිපක් හරි ගස්සගෙන ඒක තමයි උයන්නේ. උගන්න නැති පුළුවන් උපරිම උගන්නනවා කොහොම හරි හිටුවා පොත්තේම ගන්න නැතුව ඇත්තටම මේ මහත්ය වැඩ කරන බංගලෝරේටම ගිහිල්ලා කියපුවාම ඒගොල්ලෝ පොත්තේම අරන් දෙන වෙලාවල් තියෙනවා. අපර තල්ලි නැතිම වෙලාවල් ඇත්තටම තියෙන වෙලාවල් එහෙම නම් කරමාල් කරගන්න අමාරු වෙලාව.
No one knows what will happen next. How long would it take Sri Lanka to recover from this challenging situation? The gravity of the situation could be measured by the desperation of people that they are forcing to flee their homeland to get rid of this deepening crisis. Rescue workers and police in India's southern Tamil Nadu state brought 8 Sri Lankan refugees who were stranded on an islet by the sea to shore.
ஸ்ரீலங்காவில் இருந்து இப்போ இங்கே இந்தியாவுக்கு வந்திருக்கோம். அங்கே விலைவாசி பிரச்சனைங்களுக்கு அங்கே வருமானத்துக்கு மாதிரி அந்தளவு சாமான்கள் விலைவாசினால எங்களால் வாழ இருந்து நாங்கள் இந்தியாவுக்கு நாங்கள் கடல் மூலம் அங்கே வந்திருக்கோம்.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's President Ranil Wickremesinghe presented an interim budget to boost revenue and fight inflation in the country, and said talks with the International Monetary Fund on a bailout package have made solid progress. Sri Lankan officials hope the budget will be followed by the preliminary staff-level agreement with the IMF for a loan package worth between $2 billion and $3 billion.
Now let's take a look at a few happenings in Asia in our segment called Asia Watch.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently commissioned the country's first indigenously built aircraft carrier INS Vikrant in the southern port city of Kochi, the culmination of 17 years of construction and tests as the country seeks to catch up with regional rival China and its far larger naval fleet. Designed by the Indian Navy, the carrier is the largest warship to be built in the country, able to accommodate a crew of around 1,600 and operate a fleet of 30 aircraft including fighter jets and helicopters. More than 75% of the ship components are indigenously procured, with half a dozen major industrial firms and over 100 smaller businesses providing equipment and machinery, according to India's Defence Ministry. With the Vikrant's entry, India can deploy an aircraft carrier on both its eastern and western seaboards and expand its maritime presence, although the Indian Navy still lags behind the key regional rival China. Thousands of female soccer fans were allowed to watch a men's domestic league match in Tehran as Iran loosened a ban that was introduced shortly after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Women flocked to the Azadi Stadium draped in the red of their team, Persepolis FC, blowing vuvuzela horns ahead of the game against Sanat-e-Naft Abadan. Women have been banned from watching men's games in Iran since the 1979 revolution, with only a few exceptions made for small groups on rare occasions. Under pressure from the World Soccer's governing body FIFA and women's rights campaigners, in October 2019, Iranian authorities allowed about 4,000 women into 100,000-seat Azadi Stadium for an international match against Cambodia for the first time in decades. Earlier in August, 500 women had been allowed into the same Tehran stadium for a match, but Wednesday's match hosted thousands of female fans. Japanese Railways will mark its 150th anniversary in October this year. Ever since the inception of railways in Japan, the economy of the country developed to a great extent. Japanese Railways started with a steam-powered locomotive that ran between Shinbashi in Tokyo and Yokohama. Now railways are being run by electrically powered engines, which are now spread across the length and breadth of Japan. An exhibition of railway models were organized with the theme of the 150th anniversary of functioning of Japanese railways. The scaled-down model of an old railway runs through small diorama. The reproduction model of the railway starting from Tokyo expresses the unique scenery of the Japanese capital. Train is running in traffic congestion. The most important container freight train for distribution is the longest train in Japan. The diorama railway model, which shows the changing of seasons in Japan, runs through an old brick tunnel and an iron bridge. This is rich and beautiful view of Japan. The model of trains, which is created by enthusiasts and modelers, has revived the charm of yesteryear railways that had once disappeared. It portrays the 150 years history of Japanese railways, which is being handed down to the future generations. Saudi and international falconers, breeders, and falconing enthusiasts gathered at the International Saudi Falcon and Hunting Exhibition in the capital Riyadh, where they shared their love for the animal and its hunting techniques. The exhibition's fourth edition witnessed the participation of local and international falconers and breeders, with 25 sections stretched over a space of 100,000 square meters, organizers said. Local participants say that the buying the animal has become easier as European breeders visit the exhibition, which also witnessed higher sales of hunting guns. The exhibition ran from August 25th until September 3. Sushi and sashimi, which are important Japanese dishes, have now become popular all around the world. Japan is surrounded by sea on all sides, which has made seafood and seaweed staple ingredients. Because of the seafood culture being extremely popular in Japan, marketing and manufacturing of processed marine products along with the entire fishery industry has developed in Japan. Crab is amongst the most popular seafood ingredients in Japan, which is enjoyed by most of the tourists and locals in Japan. For this, preservation and processing of crab meat to keep the crabs fresh becomes necessary. The raft for fish farming has solar panel and camera. By using this application, fishermen can check image of the fishing ground data such as tide level and oxygen concentration to help their business. Marine Eco Label aims to protect the environment of marine resources from various angles. It follows FAO guidelines and acts as an international standard scheme. The products of certified company are labeled. Japan fishery industry is changing by its global awareness of the environment, communication, and digital technology utilizing IoT.
Moving on, the people living in the illegally occupied territory of Gilgit-Baltistan are suffering due to its government's negligence and poor policies. Even to demand their basic rights, they have to go through a lot of struggle. Recently, they came out on the roads to protest against the shortage of water and electricity.
Men and women in the illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan recently took to the streets to protest against the power outage and water shortage that has made their life miserable. Boiled over the government's apathetic attitude, demonstrators blocked the road near the hospital area, restricting the movement of vehicles. They said there has been continuous electricity and water shortage for the last 3 years, and yet the authorities have done nothing to resolve the issue.
हमारा अमल यही है, जब तक हमारा मसला हल नहीं होगा, हम इसी धरने को और बढ़ाएंगे। हम देखिए ऑफिस तक जाएंगे, क्योंकि जनाब वाला हमारा गरीब परवर पूरे गरीबों का मोहल्ला है यहाँ, वहाँ पे कोई पूछने वाला नहीं है। बिजली का मसला, पानी का मसला, ये 3-4 सालों से यही हो रहा है। आते हैं, तरकाते हैं, जाते हैं। हर अवसर आए, जो भी बंदा आए महकमे का, यही आज कहता है कि बस मैं कल करता हूँ काम, परसों करता हूँ काम, तरका कर चला जाता है।
Even though the area has a number of power plants and a steady supply of river and rainwater, the local authorities have failed to give the population a proper electrical supply. Even after numerous complaints, the authorities have kept their eyes closed. During the protest, demonstrators even warned the government that if it will not take immediate action, then people across Gilgit-Baltistan will increase the intensity of protest.
हम ये कई बार डीसी ऑफिस में भी हम गए, ऊपर PWD में भी हम जाके यहीं रिक्वेस्ट करके अभी कहते हैं कि लेडीज इधर रोड में क्यों ना आए, आप लोगों ने लेडीज को इधर रोड में नहीं लाकर कौन आता। हम तो कई बार जाकर थक गए हैं, बता के थक गए हैं, कोई सुनने वाला नहीं था। आज हम लोग तंग आकर यहाँ आ गए हैं। जब तक हमारा मसला हल नहीं होगा तब तक हम यहाँ से नहीं हिलेंगे।
हम सुबह 8:30 बजे से यहाँ पे धरने की शक्ल पे यहाँ पे बैठे हुए हैं, अभी तक कोई पूछने वाला यहाँ कोई नहीं है। और आप कह रहे थे कि पहले आपने कोई अहकाम कोई उठाया है। आपने तकरीबन आज से 15-20 दिन पहले हमने कोई हमारे मेंबर की शक्ल के बारे में गया था, उनको अरेस्ट कराया था। और आज भी हमारा यही मंसूबा वो है कि बराए मेहरबानी हमारा पानी और बिजली का मसला हल कर, वरना हमने धरने को आगे और बढ़ाना है।
The local residents even complain about heavy electricity bills that they have to pay for low voltage electric power that they receive for an hour or two a day. The issue of load shedding in Gilgit-Baltistan is getting worse over time as a result of persistent ignorance and a corrupt administrative system. The successive governments in the region have just passed the ball from one court to another and have significantly failed in realizing the demands of the local people.
It's time for our cultural section. The festival of Ganesh Chaturthi is being celebrated with great devotion in India and other parts of the world. Ganesh Chaturthi or Vinayak Chaturthi commemorates the birth anniversary of Hindu god Ganesha. The festival is marked with the installation of Ganesha's clay idols privately in homes and publicly on elaborate pandals.
Devotees across India welcome Ganesha with great devotion and enthusiasm as they mark the auspicious festival of Ganesh Chaturthi by taking his idols to their respective homes and community pandals in huge processions. These festivities can last anywhere from 1 to 11 days, involving rituals, the creation and visiting of pandals, colorful costumery in parades, plays and musical productions, various foods and sweets in honor of the deity, and immersion of the idols in rivers. In many parts of India, including western Maharashtra state, the festival is marked in an extravagant manner.
मैंने भगवान से यही करी कि जो भी 2 साल से हुआ है अब नहीं होना चाहिए और गणपति महाराज का आज शुभ दिन है। बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत खुशी हो रही है और जब मतलब 2 साल से बंद था तो ऐसा लगता था कि कब ये बीमारी चले जाए और हमारे गणेश जी की हमको पूजा करने के लिए मिलेगा।
According to Hindu mythology, Lord Ganesha is popularly worshipped under different names like Ekadanta, Kapila, Vinayak and Gajanan. During the celebrations, devotees welcome Ganesha idols to their homes and offer special prayers and perform various rituals. The statue is fully decorated with flowers, garlands and lights. Devotees also made different delicacies like Puran Poli, Banana Shira and Shrikant to appease Lord Ganesha. During the 10-day festival, people sing or play religious songs, dance to the beats of drums and light fireworks, all of which add a special flavor to the festive mood.
सुबह को 5:30 बजे आया हूँ। एक्चुअली बहुत लाइन है, लंबा लाइन है, फिर भी बहुत पीसफुली मतलब सक्सेसफुल हुआ है। मतलब बहुत अच्छा लगा, सब लोग इतना मतलब अच्छे तरह से पूजा करने के लिए आए।
B-Town actors and actresses too join these celebrations as they not only bring Ganesha idols at home but also visit various pandals. The festival concludes with eco-friendly Ganesha idols immersed in nearby rivers, lakes and the sea.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Hina Joshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.